Hey Shooby-Doodlers, how are you doing? Well, today I'm going to read you this story called Woolas and Lydnya, which is a story I wrote with Woolaston and Lydney Severnbanks schools in the Forest of Dean. And the story is all about how the Forest of Dean came about, and particularly how the giant's chair came to be in the sculpture trail in Coleford. It's not there anymore. It started rotting away and it was dangerous, so they've turned it into charcoal. But let's not worry about that. Let's hear the story, which I warn you is very, very sad. Woolas and Lydnya is the true story of the Forest of Dean as discovered by the pupils of Woolaston and Lydney Severnbanks schools, with a bit of help from Shu Rayner. When Woolas the giant first gazed into Lydnya's clear blue eyes, he knew he had found his one true love. But Woolas was just a lowly shepherd. Woolas took his flock of sheep and he sailed his boat across the sea, and he called the boat the Blue Bell to remind him of Lydnya's clear blue eyes. He called to Lydnya across the waves, "I'll find a place where we can be together. Then I shall return for you." He sailed and sailed across the ocean until he came to a land that looked perfect for a shepherd and his sheep. But on the shores, dragons and lions and dinosaurs of every description fought each other, for this all happened a long time ago, when dragons and dinosaurs still walked upon the earth. The dinosaurs raged and snarled, the dragons spat huge fireballs, and the lions roared until the sea was shaken up into a violent tempest. The Blue Bell fought bravely against the stormy swell, but she was forced closer and closer to the rocky shore. A high breaking monster of a wave dashed the boat against the rocks, breaking it into 1,000,000 pieces. Woolas picked himself up from the beach and looked at the wreckage of the Blue Bell. He could never return to his beloved Lydnya. Woolas roared with anger, and he set about banishing the wild animals from the land. He chased the dragons westwards to Wales and the lions east to England, and with his bare hands Woolas dug 2 trenches either side of his new land and let them fill with water. He called them the rivers Wye and Severn. And with all the rock that he dug from the rivers, Woolas made a giant hill, and he chased the dinosaurs to the dark north side. And that was the last that was ever seen of them. Woolas hoped that one day Lydnya would come and find him. He let that thought comfort him as he went to work, turning the land into a home for him and Lydnya. He called it the Dean. He built a house with the wood from the Blue Bell, and he hung the ship's name on the door. Every day he planted trees, and soon his hill was covered by forest, and his sheep wandered freely through the Dean. But Woolas could only think of Lydnya. High up in the forest he made a giant's chair. He would sit there for days, staring out to sea, searching for any sign of Lydnya. Day in, day out he looked. Day in, day out he waited. But every day ended in bitter disappointment. One day, tired of waiting, Woolas lay down among the ferns and fell asleep. The seasons came and went, and each autumn the trees hid him deeper and deeper beneath a blanket of leaves. Woolas had no reason to wake, so he slept on. After 5 years, Lydnya stopped waiting. She vowed to travel the world until she found her beloved Woolas. It seemed a hopeless task, but after many months of searching, she saw a wooden house by a rocky shore and recognized the sign upon its door. She dived from her ship and swam and ran through the waves, laughing and crying with joy, for she had found her Woolas at last. The ashes were cold in the fireplace, and cobwebs covered the walls. No sign of Woolas, no joyous welcome. Lydnya ran through the forest where Woolas's sheep still wandered free among the now mighty oaks, but they couldn't tell her where to find him. Lydnya searched the Dean again and again. Tears streamed from her beautiful blue eyes, for her heart told her that something awful had happened to Woolas. And when she came to the mighty River Severn that curled and twisted with the salmon that rode upon its tides, Lydnya closed her eyes and slipped quietly into its swirling current. Water filled her mouth. Her hair trailed behind her like elvers swimming in the weeds. In time, her bones crumbled into the shifting sands. Woolas slept through the dinosaur years, and he woke to the sound of men digging like giant moles, hollowing out the ground beneath his forest, winning the iron and coal. Woolas never knew that Lydnya had come so close, and to this day he waits for her to find him. When all is dark and men are sleeping in their beds, Woolas wanders through the Dean, caring for his sheep and his trees and the bluebells that grow wherever Lydnya's tears fell upon the ground. Well, I hope you enjoyed that, and if you did, there are still some copies left to be got hold of. Click here for the link, click down here for another story, and click up here to make sure you're subscribed to the Storytime channel. Keep coming back for lots more stories. In the meantime, keep reading. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you next time.